They got her. They got her. They got
What-
Britney.
That's Jaguar Wright, and what she's about to expose will make you rethink everything you thought you knew about Britney Spears, Ellen DeGeneres, Ghislaine Maxwell, and the most powerful network in Hollywood.
It would be the ultimate setup. They get that conservatorship, they get control of that money, and then the next thing you know, you hear Britney Spears, went into a Great Depression and took her own life. And then they get to make even more money off of her death.
This is the story they don't want you to know, but Jaguar Wright just connected every dot. And once you hear this, you'll understand why Britney's been screaming for help all along. Before we dive into what Jaguar Wright exposed, we need to understand the trap, because Britney Spears didn't just wake up one day under a conservatorship, she was methodically placed there. And the architects of that trap, they're still walking free. In 2008, at one of the lowest points in Britney's public life, a woman named Lou Taylor made a move that would define the next 13 years of Britney's existence. Lou Taylor, a business manager working through her company TriStar Sports and Entertainment Group, allegedly orchestrated the legal machinery that would strip Britney Spears of her autonomy, her voice, and her freedom. But here's what most people missed. Lou Taylor wasn't operating alone, and this wasn't random.
She told me, she said, Britney, go to the light. Go to the light and see Jesus.
That's not spiritual guidance. That's control. That's a handler. Andy Cohen, the famous television host, actually met with Britney during her conservatorship years. What he witnessed shocked him so much that he held on to the story for decades.
There's this woman who is at Britney's side at all times, and she basically tells her what to do and where to go, and it's really creepy. And I get there, and this woman was there, and it was like Britney was her cat.
She couldn't even acknowledge her own birthday without permission. This wasn't a conservatorship. This was imprisonment, and the woman orchestrating it, Lou Taylor. But she wasn't the only one. Enter Robin Greenhill. Greenhill worked directly for TriStar. She was Britney's conservatorship's handler, the person who whispered in her ear, who controlled her movements, who decided what information she could access. According to allegations in Britney's own memoir, Greenhill wasn't just watching her. She was surveilling her. There were cameras in her home. There was monitoring. There was control at every level. But here's where it gets darker. Lou Taylor and Robin Greenhill didn't stop at Britney. According to allegations from Lindsay Lohan's father, Lou Taylor tried to place Lindsay in a conservatorship too. Courtney Love came forward and said the same thing. This wasn't a one-off. This was a pattern. This was a system. And when you follow the money, when you look at who benefited and who had access, the names that keep appearing are the same names connected to the Epstein network. Because in 2009, something extraordinary appeared in the Epstein files. Britney Spears' name surfaced. Not once, not twice, but 115 times in the unsealed documents. At first, people panicked. Was Britney connected to Epstein? Was she a victim? What was her involvement? But as people dug deeper into the files, they found something more specific. An email exchange between Jeffrey Epstein and Dr. Mark Tramo that mentioned Britney by name. And the context was shocking.
There's already a number of my class asking to do some projects with me. The salary would free me up to write some grants. Example, my new pal at Universal Music has offered to send Britney Spears with the neonatal ICU project I sent the Florida Science Foundation in '09.
On the surface, it sounds innocuous, a scientific project, a research initiative. But that's not what people who really dig into this stuff see, because the Epstein files don't exist in a vacuum. They're pieces of a much larger puzzle. And the second piece of that puzzle is Ellen DeGeneres. For years, Ellen positioned herself as Britney's friend. She had Britney on her show repeatedly. She seemed supportive, jovial, and caring. But Jaguar Wright started asking uncomfortable questions. What if Ellen wasn't a friend? What if Ellen was a keeper?
At this point in time, to talk about Epstein and to talk about Diddy and to not see them as the same situation, like there's so many intersections between Epstein and Diddy that we're not even paying attention to. And people who were regulars in the Epstein crew.
Ellen had Diddy on her show multiple times. They joked together, they seemed comfortable, almost too comfortable, like they shared secrets. But here's the thing about secrets in Hollywood. They're always connected to money, power, and control. And that brings us back to Britney. Britney Spears was under a conservatorship managed by Lou Taylor and monitored by Robin Greenhill. Lou Taylor has been Diddy's business manager for decades. Robin Greenhill worked with both TriStar and Diddy's operations. Ellen was Diddy's public friend and television platform. And all of them, according to allegations and court documents, were connected to a network that extended far beyond Los Angeles. That network included Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell was Jeffrey Epstein's longtime associate, recruiter, and collaborator. She was convicted of child sex trafficking. She's now serving 20 years in prison. But before her conviction, before her arrest, Ghislaine was operating at the highest levels of celebrity culture, entertainment, and elite social circles. And according to multiple sources, Ghislaine and Ellen didn't just know each other. They operated in the same circles. They attended the same events. They moved through the same networks.
And she said that, jail is very scary. She did say she thinks that Jeffrey Epstein was murdered. And very scary. She's trying to survive to avoid situations.
She believes Epstein was murdered. She's terrified for her life. And she knows things, dangerous things that could expose who else was involved. Now here's what Jaguar Wright is alleging. And this is where the entire structure collapses. Britney Spears wasn't just under a conservatorship, she was under control. She was being managed by a network that included Ellen DeGeneres and connected to Ghislaine Maxwell and the broader Epstein infrastructure. And the purpose of that control wasn't just financial, it was silencing her. It was keeping her compliant. It was ensuring she never spoke about what she knew. Because Britney, during her peak celebrity years, moved in those circles. She knew people. She went to events. She was around the network. And she might have known things.
It would be the ultimate setup. They get that conservatorship, they get control of that money, and then the next thing you know, you hear Britney Spears, went into a Great Depression and took her own life.
That's not just speculation. That's describing a motive. That's describing a system designed to control, isolate, and ultimately neutralize a potential witness. And Jaguar Wright has alleged that this exact system was used on multiple people. Take Brittany Murphy, the actress who died under suspicious circumstances in 2009, the same year the Epstein documents placed Britney Spears in connection with suspicious projects. Brittany Murphy was involved with Ashton Kutcher. She was around the network, and then she died of pneumonia, officially. But her father spent years insisting she was murdered. He commissioned independent testing. He found evidence of heavy metals, rat poison compounds. He pointed to Hollywood and the people who wanted his daughter to be silent.
You believe your daughter was murdered?
I absolutely do.
And Brittany Murphy wasn't alone. Kim Porter, Diddy's ex, the mother of his children, died of pneumonia in 2018. Before her death, Kim was reportedly preparing to publish a memoir. People close to her said she had things to say, things she'd witnessed, things about the dark side of the elite Hollywood network. She died before it was published. Her memoir has never surfaced. And the coroner handling multiple high-profile pneumonia deaths in Los Angeles, Ed Winter. All these deaths, same cause, same oversight, and never officially investigated. This isn't coincidence. This is a pattern, and Jaguar Wright has been connecting these patterns for months now. Because while everyone was celebrating Britney Spears' freedom from her conservatorship in 2021, Jaguar Wright was asking the real questions. Where did the money go? What did Britney actually know? Who was truly protecting whom? And when Britney was finally released, it was revealed that she was missing approximately $600 million. Money that disappeared during her conservatorship, money that was allegedly stolen by Lou Taylor. But Lou Taylor was never charged. Robin Greenhill was never charged. They were never deposed. Nothing happened. Why? Because these women weren't operating independently. They were part of a larger network. A network with powerful protection. A network that included Ellen DeGeneres, Diddy, and connections extending all the way to the Epstein infrastructure.
Lou Taylor was known for allegedly trying to put artists into conservatorships. And according to Britney Spears' book, Lou Taylor did it by going through her parents. According to Michael Lohan, Lou Taylor tried to do it to Lindsay by going through her mother. And Lou Taylor is not only Diddy's business manager, but she's also Kim Kardashian's business manager.
This is systemic. This is organized. This is a network of people using legal mechanisms to control, isolate, and exploit celebrities. And once they're under control, they're silenced. They're contained. And if they become a threat, they're neutralized.
Oh, she doesn't seem herself. She hasn't seemed herself in a very long time.
And on her social media, Britney has been posting cryptic messages. Messages that seem coded. Messages that people close to her have interpreted as cries for help.
I'm turning 5 this year. I'm turning 5 years old.
That wasn't a joke. That was Britney saying she's being treated like a child, that her agency has been revoked again, that control has been reinstated. This is where Jaguar Wright stepped in, because she wasn't just documenting Britney's situation. She was connecting it to Ellen. She was connecting it to the broader Epstein network. And she was asking, what happened on Epstein Island? What Jaguar Wright alleges is that Britney Spears, during certain periods of her conservatorship, may have been taken to Epstein-connected locations, that she may have been part of events where Ellen, Ghislaine and other network members were present, that she may have witnessed things, that she may have been filmed, that she may have been recorded. And when she tried to speak about it, when she started posting cryptic messages on Instagram, when she expressed that she wanted to make her own biopic and tell her own story, that's when the network shut it down.
I'm not turning 42. I'm turning 5 this year. I'm turning 5 years old. And I have to go to kindergarten tomorrow.
Britney was going to tell her story. She was going to control her own narrative. And suddenly, she's back under control. Suddenly, the handlers are back. Suddenly, she's being managed again because the network couldn't allow that. The network couldn't allow Britney to speak freely about what she knows, what she's seen, who she's been around, and where she's been taken. Now, we've been discussing Ashton Kutcher in relation to Britney Murphy, but Jaguar Wright and other investigators have raised uncomfortable questions about Ashton Kutcher's broader connections to this network. Kutcher testified before Congress about protecting children. He built an entire public identity around fighting exploitation, but he also sent a character letter to a court defending Danny Masterson, his co-star and close friend, who was convicted of multiple rapes.
The letters were not written to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling.
They were intended for the judge to read, and we're sorry.
When the apology came, it didn't address the fundamental question. How could a man who claims to fight exploitation defend a convicted rapist? How could his wife, Mila Kunis, do the same? And more importantly, what does Ashton Kutcher know about this network? Who else is he protecting? Because Kutcher also has connections to Diddy. Kutcher has connections to the elite circles that Britney moved through. Kutcher was around Britney Murphy before she died under suspicious circumstances.
She's one of the girls that we're all waiting for to turn 18.
That was Kutcher on a lost clip discussing a 16-year-old actress. Predatory language, predatory intent, and nobody did anything about it. Nobody pursued it. Nobody investigated. Because that's how the network works. The network protects its own. The network has built-in immunity. The network spans from celebrity to power broker to politician to law enforcement. And that brings us to Diddy, because Diddy is the thread that connects absolutely everything. Diddy attended Ellen's show repeatedly. Diddy is friends with Lou Taylor, his business manager. Diddy is connected to the Epstein network through multiple documented associates and attendees at his parties. Diddy has been arrested and charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation for prostitution. But more importantly, Diddy's parties, his legendary parties, are where the network operated. Those were the spaces where the system was built. Those were the places where powerful people gathered to discuss, coordinate, and manage their exploitation network.
Diddy party stories, they're our favorite genre of anecdote.
People who attended Diddy's parties have been careful not to speak about what they witnessed. And you can understand why, because if you talk about what happened at Diddy's parties, you're talking about a network that includes some of the most powerful people in entertainment. You're talking about Ellen. You're talking about people connected to Epstein. You're talking about coordinated exploitation, trafficking, and control of celebrities. And this extends beyond adult celebrities. Jaguar Wright has also raised alarm bells about how young artists are discovered and then systematically exploited through the same network. Justin Bieber was discovered on YouTube. A major celebrity came and took him under his wing. And then, according to Bieber's own recent statements, he was put through hell. He didn't know who to trust. He was abandoned by people who claimed to care about him. And years later, he's still trying to protect other young artists from experiencing what he experienced.
Tears, he's like, I just want to protect her. I just want to keep her safe.
Yeah.
That's Bieber talking about protecting a younger artist, because he knows. He knows the system, he knows the network, he knows what happens to young, talented, vulnerable people who are thrust into this world without protection.
It's funny how all of these artists are grabbing these people off of YouTube, and then the next thing you know, you're watching their demise on YouTube. Isn't that funny? You get famous and discovered, and then they watch you crash out.
In a circle.
And that's by design, because the network needs broken people. It needs people with trauma. It needs people who are compliant, who are grateful, who won't speak out. Ellen DeGeneres was the perfect public face for this system. She was warm, she was funny, she was relatable. Celebrities loved going on her show. And while they were there, they were either being normalized into the network or they were being reminded of the network's power over them. Britney went on Ellen's show during her conservatorship. Ellen hugged her. Ellen laughed with her. Ellen was supportive on camera, but what was happening off camera? camera? What conversations were being had? What network dynamics were being reinforced? These weren't random comments. These were communications. These were confirmations. These were ways of saying, we're here, we're watching, we're still in control. And Ghislaine Maxwell was the infrastructure beneath it all. While Ellen was the public face, Ghislaine was the architect. Ghislaine had the Epstein connections. Ghislaine had access to the properties, the resources, and the networks that the broader exploitation system required. Before her arrest, Ghislaine moved freely through celebrity circles. She was seen at parties. She was connected to major celebrities. She had access to vulnerable people, and she was recruiting.
And she said that, jail is very scary. She did say she thinks that Jeffrey Epstein was murdered.
Because she's protected only as long as she's silent. The moment she speaks, she becomes a threat to the entire network. And threats are neutralized. Now, Jaguar Wright hasn't explicitly stated that Britney was taken to Epstein Island, but she's raised the questions that lead in that direction. Why did Britney's name appear 115 times in the Epstein files? Why was there an email exchange involving Britney, a project, and Epstein's associate? Why was Britney placed in a conservatorship so quickly after her public breakdown? Why were people like Ellen visiting her, supporting her, being seen with her, while also being connected to Diddy and his network? Why has Britney remained under some form of control even after the conservatorship officially ended? Why has she never been able to speak freely about her experiences?
Where's our Britney Spears?
That question isn't just about her freedom, it's about her agency. It's about who she really is beneath the control, the surveillance, and the management. It's about where she's been and what she's been forced to do. And according to Jaguar Wright, those answers are connected to Ellen, Ghislaine, Diddy, Lou Taylor, and a network that has operated in plain sight for decades while the public cheered them on. Here's what we know for certain. Lou Taylor placed Britney in a conservatorship. She also attempted to place other artists in conservatorships. She's Diddy's business manager. And according to court documents, she allegedly stole millions of dollars from Britney. Robin Greenhill surveilled Britney. She monitored her home. She controlled her movements. She was Britney's handler. And according to newer allegations, she's been involved in paying off Diddy's trafficking victims. Ellen DeGeneres maintained a relationship with Diddy and other network members. She had multiple opportunities to know about and report illegal activity. She's never addressed her connections publicly. Ghislaine Maxwell operated at the highest levels of this network. She's now imprisoned and afraid. She believes Epstein was murdered and knows that she's in danger. Diddy has been arrested and charged with trafficking, racketeering, and prostitution, charges that span decades and implicate multiple co-conspirators. And Britney Spears remains the face of a system that worked perfectly. A system where a vulnerable celebrity is identified, a legal mechanism is created to control her, her assets are plundered, her agency is stripped, she's isolated from truth, she's kept compliant through surveillance and psychological manipulation. If she becomes a threat, she's neutralized. The answer is no. And as long as Lou Taylor walks free, as long as Robin Greenhill walks free, as long as Ellen DeGeneres' connections remain unexamined, as long as Ghislaine sits in her cell, terrified and silent, the system survives. But Jaguar Wright has broken the silence. She's connected the dots that the mainstream media won't touch. She's asked the questions that power wants forgotten. That's the question. Not just about Lou Taylor and Robin Greenhill, but about Ellen, about everyone who knew, everyone who participated, everyone who benefited from a system built on the exploitation and control of vulnerable people. The Epstein files are still unsealing. Diddy's case is still unfolding. And every day, new connections are being made, new questions are being raised, and the wall of silence that protected this network for decades is finally cracking. We're paying attention now, and thanks to Jaguar Wright, we're finally seeing the full picture. The network, the control, the surveillance, the silence, and the one woman who tried to scream for help. Where is Britney Spears? That's the question that breaks the system wide open, because wherever she is, whatever she's been through, whatever she knows, that's where the truth lies.